Two people save for retirement, and I want you to guess who ends up richer. The first saves $24,000 and then stops completely forever. The second saves $72,000, 3 times the money poured in steadily for 3 times as long. They retire with almost exactly the same amount. The only real difference between them is that the one who saved a third as much simply started 10 years earlier. It sounds impossible because we all quietly believe the same thing about money, that saving is an addition problem. You put dollars in a pile, the pile gets as big as the dollars you added. More in, more out. And that one belief leads almost every single time to the most popular financial plan on the planet. I'll get serious about this later, once I'm earning real money, once things settle down. Right now, I've only got a little, and a little won't matter. It feels responsible. It feels like the grown-up move. Wait until you can do it properly. And it is quietly one of the most expensive decisions a young person will ever make. Because the little bit you have right now is worth more than a large amount later. Not emotionally, mathematically. Here's why the addition picture is wrong. Money that's invested doesn't grow by addition. It grows by multiplication. The thing you've heard called compounding, which sounds boring and is actually the closest thing finance has to magic. You put in $1, it earns a return. But next year, that return earns its own return. And the year after, the returns on the returns start earning returns. Each dollar quietly spawns a little dynasty, which means the real engine of this whole thing was never the size of the deposit. It's the number of years that deposit gets to sit there and multiply. And those two things are wildly different. A dollar you invest at 25 has 40 years to double, and double again and again. A dollar you invest at 45 has 20. It misses half the doublings, and it misses the last ones, which are always the biggest. There's even a quick rule for this, called the Rule of 72. Divide 72 by your return, and that's roughly how many years it takes your money to double. At about 7%, that's every 10 years or so. So the 25-year-old gets 4 doublings before retirement. The 45-year-old gets 2. Same dollar, half the doublings, and the difference between 2 doublings and 4 is not double. It's 4 times as much. The lever was never how much you save. It's how long it compounds. J.P. Morgan actually ran this as a clean experiment. 3 savers, the same modest $2,400 a year, the same assumed return of about 5.75%. Meet the first. Call her Quitter Quincy. She invests from age 25 to 35. 10 years, $24,000 total. And then she stops. Never adds another cent. By 65, she has $176,900. Now the second, late Lila. She waits, then invests from 35 all the way to 65. 30 years, $72,000, 3 times what Quincy put in. She ends with $192,000. Read that again. Lila invested 3 times the money for 3 times as long, and she barely edged ahead. Quincy quit before Lila even started and nearly caught her on a third of the cash. Almost that entire near tie is just Quincy's 10-year head start, quietly compounding in the background the whole time. And the third saver shows you the full prize. Consistent Chloe does both. She starts at 25 and never stops. She puts in $96,000, only about a third more than Lila. She retires with $368,900, nearly double Lila's result for a third more money. Every one of those extra dollars simply had longer to multiply. So the most valuable asset in all of investing turns out not to be a genius stock pick or some hot fund. It's time. And time is the one input you can never, ever buy back. The 25-year-old who says, "I'll start when I earn more," isn't being cautious. They're spending down the single most powerful money they will ever have access to, and they will never get that decade back. Now, two honest asterisks, because this is not a magic guarantee. It assumes a positive average return over decades, real markets fall, and the order the good and bad years arrive in genuinely matters, and the exact dollar figures depend on the return you assume. At a slightly higher rate, Quincy doesn't just tie Lila, she flat out beats her. But watch what that does. The assumption changes the size of the gap. It never changes the direction. An early dollar is worth several late ones in every single scenario. This isn't financial advice. It's arithmetic. And the move it points to is almost insultingly boring. Start now, start tiny, and make it automatic. So the next time you catch yourself saying you'll get serious about saving later, when you finally have real money, remember Quincy, who got rich on a rounding error purely by being early. You can always find more money later. You can never find more time. So start with the $10 you have today, not the 100 you'll have in 10 years.